Come
Can y'all hear me
on.
now?
Mic check.
Can everybody hear me now? Please put a W in the chat if you can hear me.
Thank y'all. Say yo, no audio. Can y'all hear us now? Mic check 1, 2.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Okay.
All
Cool.
right,
Thank
so
y'all.
we're gonna have to do the intro all over again.
Take it from the top.
Hello. Welcome back to another edition of our Talk It Out sessions presented by V.E.R.B. We're your hosts, Aaron Tate, Adrian Post, saying hello to our future selves. If you caught our other videos, then you know what we like to do is we take a specific topic, particularly one that is controversial, and we like to discuss it. We come up with different talking points to bring up throughout the discussion, but we also like to get involved with you guys as well. So for those of you tuning in, please feel free to comment and ask any questions you think might contribute to the conversation. With that being said, today's conversation is part 2 to the Conversation Rules a Nation series we started last week. What were you saying?
So I want to ask the people who are viewing before we get into our spiel, how important do you think conversation is? Like how important, matter of fact, how important is conversation to you? And the reason that I ask is because whenever we were talking to old girl about the video for tonight, and she was basically like, oh, y'all still on that. I feel so many things is wrong with that. Number one, the topic of our videos are about conversation. And the problem is people don't realize how many subcategories are inside this one topic. Because when we're talking about conversation, we can delve into just the tone, we can delve into the atmosphere, the pitch, the body language, the effectiveness, the imagery that's painted, the definitions, the word play. Like it's so many different variations that goes into having a conversation. And I feel like the problem is we live in this hit or miss type of generation where people feel like, oh, well, y'all talked about that last week. But my question would be, what did you get from it? Have your communication improved? Did you get everything you needed out of that conversation? How productive have you been utilizing the tools that we discussed last week? If all of those answers are no, none, and then are we really done with it?
Mm-hmm. Can't be. All right. Hello, Ashley, John Orr. I hope I said that correctly. What's up, Moses? How you doing? Got swag. Hey, y'all, it's Shauna. Hey, Shauna. I'm going to need you to decide which YouTube account you're going to use for these lives. It's hard to keep up with you.
Right.
Moses said, extremely important. Conversation is the most important thing. Can't agree more.
I can agree. And I feel like if we really slowed down and we had more people really willing to spend time on things, we wouldn't be in the shape we're in now, right? Because only through conversation are things like comprehension skills built, context clues, problem solving, accountability, responsibility, effective communication,
Patience.
Emotional intelligence, patience. Like none of those things are being received, and we're harping on these things because clearly whatever we've been doing thus far in regards to conversation is not working. Mm-hmm. If it was working, then why are we still harping on it? So I would ask, those of you who don't have the mental fortitude at hand to keep hearing the same thing over and over, I don't want you to look at it in a sense of where you're talking about the same thing. I want you to ask yourself, well, since I heard the information already, what have I done with it? Mm-hmm. How has it benefited me? Is there any details that I'm missing? How, when, where can I apply these principles? How have the opposite of what they're discussing been beneficial or non-beneficial to my life? And for the most part, when we're talking to these people, we're calling out the negatives or the areas of our conversation that they clearly don't have, because the look on their face tells me that, right? They're in complete awe. Like, I never thought about it like that. But yet you approach conversations with a sense of, are we done with that? As if you've mastered it. Like, when did everybody become a psychologist or have their PhD in communication, but yet nobody can communicate? Yeah. But you're tired of hearing about communication. Help me understand.
Ashley said, conversation is very important. You learn everything and you grow. So I got a question for both Ashley Moses and Shauna, if you guys are listening. Can you give me one thing or one skill you've developed over time through conversation. Give me one skill that you guys have developed over time through conversation.
And you know what else? While we're waiting on them to answer,
You got Facebook comes up. Okay.
While we're waiting on them to answer, another thing that gets me is it's our collective delusion that we already have skills, yet we question our inabilities. And what I mean by that is, for the most part, and this is no shade against anyone's parents or upbringing, our parents didn't sit us down and teach us effective communication. Our parents didn't sit us down and teach us, comprehension skills, context clues, how to read body language, emotional intelligence, how to self-balance whenever things are out of order. You also didn't learn these things in school, and yet we get into relationships and partnerships and friendships, and it's always chaotic. It's always toxic. People are making songs about backstabbing and doing each other wrong, and yet you wonder why. Mm-hmm. Like, you have the audacity to ask, well, I don't know why it didn't work out. My question now to those people who talk to me about these things is, what have you done over the last 5 to 10 years to develop the specific skill that's needed to overcome your current level of difficulties? Mm-hmm. And the answer is unequivocally no to all of those questions. Mm-hmm. But yet we have such high expectations of ourselves. But where did you get the skill from? You're not spending time reading, researching, practicing that skill, taking class. Like, you're not doing any of that, but yet you expect to have a productive relationship. How? You expect to advance on your job. How? You expect to have flourishing friendships. How? Like, how are you doing any of this? And yet when I'm asking, what have you done over the last 6 to 8 months to utilize that time to develop a specific skill for what you need, your answer is nothing. Mm-hmm. Make it make sense.
Moses said understanding. He's developed the skill of understanding through conversation. Ashley said an increase of vocabulary. I learned throughout life that is something I lacked. And then Shauna said compassion.
Great answers.
That the vocabulary one, man. Yeah. Everybody need to increase their vocabulary. Mm-hmm. What are some of the skills that you feel like you've gained through conversation over time? If you would be so kind to lay it all out.
I'm so glad you asked. Conversation has taught me so much, right? So conversation has taught me to be humble, because in here, I'm king, mm-hmm. right? You don't know that there's someone above you to that degree until you have a conversation, and then that person is utilizing words or painting pictures that you've never considered. Mm-hmm. And it opened up my eyes to be like, you know what, I might not be as me as I thought I was, and I have room to grow. Yeah. It's taught me patience, right? Because I can instantly jump off and try to, cut someone's throat off in a conversation. But then when they respond with something that's so logical and so analytical or so critical, it completely shifts my perspective. And it's like, dang, I really probably should have just held that in until I gave you a chance to speak. Mm-hmm. It taught me how to have effective communication. I've utilized conversation to practice filler words, like the ums, the rs, the buts, and the and. Like, I used to do that bad. It's taught me self-discipline, because a lot of times people are saying things that to me don't make sense off the rip, or I already know what you're about to say, yet I still need to give you a chance to get it out. So I have to control my own emotions and my own thoughts to give you time to get that out. Comprehension. It's a laundry list of things that I feel like until we really start to drill down and be okay with conversations at length's end, regardless of specific time span, you feel like, oh, well, we talking too much, or oh, you're doing too much. But what I find just on a day in and day out basis, people be real live attaching doing too much to their inabilities. So because I can't enunciate or articulate my thoughts when you do it, you're doing too much. To not have to simply admit I'm not there yet. And I just don't think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
especially for somebody who put in the time to get there. Like it's a slap in the face. It's like somebody going to school 8 years to get their doctorates or masters, and then they walk up to an interview and they be like, "Oh, we don't need that." I'm sorry. What about my years?
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop it.
Ashley said, "I learned to be patient, not to be so quick to answer and be quiet. Also, if I don't have the answer to a question, meditate on it to receive." That's good. I would say for me, over time, through conversation, I've definitely developed understanding. I agree with Moses. I'm with Moses on that understanding aspect. I've developed the skill of asking questions, probing questions. I've developed the skill of analyzing what someone is trying to say versus what they're actually saying at the current moment. And through that, I had to develop the ability to ask the right questions in order to help them get out what they're trying to say. I've definitely developed, I also agree with Ashley when she said patience. It's so easy to want to get out your point and to want that point to overshadow what someone else is saying. But to be able to just sit there and allow someone to fully finish their thought or fully complete their thought.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle for a lot of people, especially when you feel like someone is wrong or when you feel like, they're not really saying anything. So it's very important to make sure to allow people to talk and to feel heard, because that's something that is also lost in conversation these days as well, feeling heard. So I've definitely developed the skill of, patience and listening. Active listening. That's a very underrated.
Thank you for
skill.
that verb.
It's very
or that adjective.
Active listening. I've definitely developed my active listening skills. Yeah, and then vocabulary has definitely over time. My vocabulary has increased. I noticed when you have more to say, you have to increase your vocabulary in order to say the more that you want to say.
Yeah.
Like
you can't just stick with what you have.
Yeah, because a lot of words don't work for everything. So you have to learn new ways to say different things. They just don't. I wish they did. But they don't.
You spot on. Justin Wood said understanding differences.
Yeah, that's another big one. Being able to see yourself in someone else. Even if who you currently are isn't compatible with who someone else is, however, you can still, you say it all the time, you will be a fool to think that you're exempt from what other people go through or what other people experience, right? So it's your ability to see yourself going through what someone else is going through, or processing information the way someone else is processed if you were in their shoes or if you were that person, right? So I've definitely developed that skill over time. And like you said, it's a laundry list of things, man. But
the thing that puts us at a deficit is not having those conversations, right? And it goes back to you'll be a fool. Like, I'll be a fool to think that in my current experience as a human, I have the mental ability to go through every possible scenario with every possible thought process for every possible situation and every possible circumstance. So my quirk of it would be to understand that whatever I didn't think of may come out your mouth. Mm-hmm. And when you hit it, that's when they'd be like, I never thought about that. How many of us have actually had a conversation with somebody and you was like, I ain't never thought about that? Well, that's fair, right? Because no one singularly has that capability to be all encompassing in thought. But yet the more people you talk to, the better chance you have of being well-rounded in a thought process, even if your thought process still reigns supreme, right? So say we're working on a project and I've already thought 3 months ahead on how it's going to end. Mm-hmm. I could definitely be missing something though, because I went from today to 3 months ago. There's still hours, minutes, seconds, weeks, and days in between now and 3 months from now where I missed all that. And that key detail can actually add to what I had planned for 3 months ago. But if I didn't have that conversation with you, how would I add that to it? So I just feel like if we all get to the point to where we're respectful enough to hear someone out, like you said, in spite of how it makes you feel. Emotional intelligence.
I was just about to say emotional control. That's another big one. Emotional control in the conversation is huge.
You got to have it.
Gotta have it.
You gotta have it. And we can just look at Facebook, social media, Twitter, Snapchat, or just any video on the internet and be like, oh, like you can literally pick out the skills that are needed once you start utilizing them. Like it was two girls arguing outside the other day, right? And as I was listening, I heard what they were saying, but in my mind, I'm just going through the checklist like, dang, like your logic that you're giving her is valid, but you don't have enough emotional intelligence to calm down and realize that the reason she's heightened is because we're talking about her child. So there's specific words that you don't need to use that's going to trigger her so that you can finish a sentence so that she can understand what you're saying and then calm down for the better and benefit of the child. But because both of you lack this particular skill, it's a yelling match, and security had to come break it up. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, we got to do better. Yeah. Justin Wood said, just because you're the leader in the room don't mean you can't be taught at the moment. Absolutely correct.
Jasmine said, hi, my guys. Hey, Jasmine.
What up, Jay?
Moses said, also, I've learned it's not what you say, but how you say it. Like, my biggest issue was learning that the way I think about something when I said it, the person may not take it that way, the way that I meant it. Absolutely. Ashley said, yes, Adrian, I agree with what you said.
Hello, my people tuning in from Facebook. Miss Smith, Justin, Miss Jonah, nephew, my lovely wife, Sarge. How important do y'all feel like conversation is? And what's one key thing that you've gained through having conversation with people over the years?
And real quick, everybody that's watching on YouTube, if you can do us a favor and please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Also, my people that's watching on Facebook, let's come to the YouTube and so we can like the video.
Come on over to the, I gotta post the link in the thing.
Adrian's gonna post the link in the comments.
I just feel like we need to slow down, man. We be moving way too fast. And it's not until I slow down I realize how many things I lack. And then I start working on that.
Very important, man. It just got me thinking back to like all the clips that we posted on TikTok so far, and like all of the women that have provided so much backlash to our videos or to the content in the videos without trying to initiate a conversation or questions about what we were talking about to get clarity about what we were talking about, you know?
And then I've been thinking about that ever since it started. And for me, it's not getting better because in my mind, I started out by saying, well, dang, we were just asking, you know, what do you offer in a partnership? And then I started thinking, well, dang, we then told you what you could offer in a partnership. And then I started thinking, well, dang, we're asking for basic life skills. Like, it's kind of sad when you think about we're asking females and also males, it's your job as well, equally, to bring, you know, if you don't mind, you know, I know we want to partner together, but if you don't mind, could you possibly bring some active listening? Mm-hmm. Come on, G. Mm-hmm. Could you possibly bring some effective communication? Could you possibly just have a little accountability? Could you bring a little responsibility? If you don't mind, do you mind working on emotional intelligence? Do you mind being sympathetic when I tell you I'm going through something? Do you mind empathizing with me? Do you mind, you know, dealing with a little problem solving because something might come up one day? Do you mind, you know what I'm saying, just, if you will, possibly work on, you know, comprehension a little? Like, I've named nothing that no one in the world watching this video wouldn't agree that we all need on an individual level. Like, even if you're not pursuing a relationship, you need every skill I just named. I'm not asking you to bring something that you wouldn't or shouldn't be working on anyway. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you're that defensive against basic life skills that everybody can agree needs to be worked on shows we have a bigger problem. None of that is a financial situation. None of that is sexually, you know, aroused. Like, none of that is anything that you can't sit in the comfort of your home and work on or read about or research or look up or talk about. Mm-hmm. It costs you nothing and it gives you everything, but you against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I think to that point, I think I want to bring up a myth about.
Hey, Jenna. Mr. Hicks.
A myth about men and the kind of women that they want. You know, you hear it all the time. Men want a woman that's cooperative, and for the most part, women tend to interpret that as, well, you want someone that doesn't have an opinion or isn't allowed to share their opinion with you. That's not necessarily the case. I think over time, men have concluded that most women in most cases currently lack the ability to exercise all of those skills that you just named, right? They lack the ability to effectively communicate, because for the most part, they think with their feelings, talk with their emotions, and alter reality when it benefits them. Right?
Say that again, because a little closer to my mic.
They think with their feelings, talk with their emotions, and alter reality whenever it benefits them. Valid. Right? So prime example, like let's say I live with a girl or a woman, and every morning we wake up, shower and stuff like that, but I end up brushing my teeth before she does. So one week on a Tuesday, I brush my teeth, and when I leave the bathroom, I forget to put the cap back on the toothpaste, whenever I finish. So my girl walks in after me. She notices it. She says, "Hey, babe, you got to put the cap back on the toothpaste. Can you remember to do it next time?" "Oh, my bad. Got you. Sorry, it won't happen again," right? Next week on a Thursday, happens again. So now, instead of saying it again, she's like, "Oh, I done told you about putting the cap back on the toothpaste." And I'm just like, "Yo, why are you so pressed? Like, what's up?" You know what I mean? Like, cause you always leaving the cap off the toothpaste. I didn't ask you before to make sure you put the cap on. Always? Can you name the last time I did it? You did it last week. Okay, that's one time. Mm-hmm. When was the time before that? I can't remember, but I know you did it.
It was one time.
Okay, but so far all you can remember is one time last week and one time this week. There's only 2 times out of the 3 years that we've been living together. So do I always leave the cap off the toothpaste, or
I just happen to do it?
Are
again.
These really just two isolated incidents that need to be addressed? Mm-hmm. And so, but instead of thinking with her logic, she's don't let a period be on, or don't let her be pissed off about something.
If it's that time of the month,
cancel Christmas.
The woman you had over here must have left the toothpaste off, son.
Facts. So it's just like men have kind of accepted that. Well, in most cases, again, I'm not saying all women. There are some women who have worked and built up those skills that it takes to have a decent conversation or an effective conversation. But being honest, and not even just women, most men and women aren't exercising these skills on a regular basis. No. However, men aren't always triggered by emotions when having conversations. That's usually on the woman's side. So it's just like men, we've decided, okay, well, if I can't have a woman that effectively communicates, I would rather just you not talk at all. Yeah. So that's what men are saying when they say they want someone that's cooperative. It's not that we don't want you to have an opinion. It's that you don't know how to share your opinion with logic, without emotion, without getting your feelings involved, or without altering reality for it to benefit your argument, right? You don't know how to just have an effective conversation. So I would rather just not deal with your mouth at all, and you just allow me to lead and take us where we need to go, right? That's what people mean, or that's what men mean when they say they want a woman that's cooperative. Now, women take the initiative to work on those skills prior to getting into a relationship, and you can show proof to the man that you do know how to share your opinion and have a logical conversation and effectively communicate how it is that you feel or what it is you want to do, blah, 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 blah. If you can show the ability to do that, we can talk all day. We can talk all day.
I love it.
I'm talking from sun up to sundown.
And then they wonder why. Well, let me read a comment real quick. So Meredith Hicks says, very important. I've learned that what you said and saying may not always be what's being heard. I've gotten in the habit of restating what I heard to make sure we're on the same page. Great. She also said, I've learned that, oh no, it was a duplicate. Yeah, great. The thing is, I lost my train of thought.
Ashley said, yes, it is so true. I understand why men say on why women should be quiet. I take on that correction.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Ashley.
I really do. And like you was telling me about the women saying men are simple. Perfect.
Yep. That's
bless
another
them.
myth.
Don't bless them.
Yeah.
Don't bless them.
So that's another myth. This idea that men are simple to please, or men are simple in nature. I don't know. Men are not simple in nature.
We've adapted to be simple.
Yeah, we're not simple by virtue of lack of complexity. We're simple by virtue of ability to keep it simple due to our partner's inability to provide the complexity that we're requesting, right? So and you broke it down perfectly last week. When you think about the beginning of time, or not even necessarily beginning of time, 60, 70 years ago, when men were working and bringing home the bread, and women were staying at home and cooking and cleaning and whatnot, right? Men couldn't require women to go half on the bills or split bills 50-50 or contribute anything financially because you're not going to work. You literally can't pay money that you don't have. You can't. Right? So of course we're not going to expect you to contribute financially, right? Women, if you're staying at home all day, you cooking and cleaning, you tired, at some point you're going to want to get out the house. So that explains why women today usually have adopted the idea of wanting to get out and go on dates, go shopping, whatever the case is, right? Like men, if we're going to work all day, 8-9 hours a day, and then we come home, we want to be at the house. We want to sit back in our recliner. We want to watch the game. We want to drink a beer. We don't want to have to get up and get a plate. So we're taking traditions that were created in one period of time and trying to continue those same traditions in a period of time that it doesn't fit in
at all. Right? The dynamic is completely different because now women work. So equivalent to the man going to work, the woman is also working. Equivalent to the woman being at home at a specific time, the man is also there as well. So I'm not asking, or I'm not projecting that the woman needs to go to work, pay bills, and also come home and clean. Yeah. What I'm projecting is if the man and woman are both working, then the traditional standards of the household needs to be updated. Yeah. So therefore, we're both working, we're both contributing, and we're both cleaning, we're both training and raising the family. We are a partnership, because partnership back then was based on the societal norms. Man work, woman stay at home. The societal norms are both people are working now. So the man need to get up off the couch and help take care of the house. Yeah. And the woman need to get up off the couch and go to work and help take care of the bills as well. And now that is a partnership. Now, in the event that you're still going through the standards of tradition where your husband works and you stay at home, then that's perfect. There's a dynamic that was laid out that worked, right? But if that is not your dynamic, there's going to be some type of resentment or a regret created between the male or the female over a long period of time where you're trying to fit that triangle in a circle box.
Absolutely. Trying to hold on to the traditions that benefit us on an individual level instead of creating traditions that benefit the both of us.
Doesn't work.
It can't work.
Justin said time has changed 50-50. Yeah. And the fact that women, well, not all women, but most women, they enjoy the benefits of the traditional woman, yet they're not projecting the attributes. And my question would be, and this is a revelation I had a while back, I personally don't know any respectful adult who has a goal with a partner, right? Like, take me and my wife. I sit my wife down and say, hey, we are a partner. We're a unit, right? We need to work together. So our goal is to save money, pay off our bills, take that money we saved and make investments to set ourselves up for the future. I don't know any woman who considers themselves to be a grown woman that would counter that and be like, nope, you go to work, you pay all the bills, and I'm going to take my money and do what I want to with it. We got a family. We got a child. We got a house. We got plans. Yeah. But what I feel like happens is women and men don't sit down and have a projected goal. So it makes sense to me why females or wives feel like, well, they can just blow their money, because I don't think that there is a projection of something worth taking that money and aiming towards.
Yeah.
So even if the man is making 100,000 and the woman is only making 30,000, to say, hey, you're the man, you make more than me, you should pay all the bills, and I can just do what I want. For the woman to have the ideology, that's crazy. And for the man to agree with it, that's crazy. Because even though she only make 30,000 and he make 100,000,
130,000
paying bills, 130,000 is always more than just 100,000.
Absolutely.
There's no way to get around those numbers. And that gets into the delusion that you were talking about earlier. It's delusional for you to think that 100,000 towards bills will get them paid off faster than 130,000.
Yeah. Prime example, the video that Jasmine sent us this morning about that housewife that got on Instagram talking about some, my money, his money is my money. When he gets paid, we get paid, and I spend as much money as I want, right? And again, if I'm not debating the whole your money is my money, or when you get paid we get paid. We're partners. Our money is together. We working towards something, right? But the fact that she, at no point in that video, stated that the money that I get when he gets paid, or that he gives me an allowance when he gets paid. So I use some of it to, spend on myself, go shopping, whatever. But there's another portion of it that goes towards investments, that goes towards bills, that goes towards something
that we have set,
that allows this money to continue to grow. Right? I'm not just depending on. He's an NFL player. He's rich. Whatever. Cool. But at some point,
what happened when he pulled the ACL?
That NFL career has to end at some point, right?
You gonna say it on person to get us some money?
Even if you are staying at home, you're not working, you're a housewife, you make a couple $100,000 a year or whatever. Like, you can be taking whatever money he gives you and using that to set you guys up for a future outside of football, or once football ends, right? But that's not what she's projecting. And then all of the women that were watching the video was like bigging her up or agreeing with what she was saying, but because it goes back to what you said, they're not goal oriented. We don't have no goals. We're not looking towards something. We're only concerned about the right now.
And that's what Ashley just said.
And both the woman and the man is at fault for it. The woman for wanting that, and the man for letting her do it, letting her get away with it, perpetuating this cycle. But don't nobody want to be partners out here.
Which also speaks to something else, like the fact that, I'm going to read this comment. So Justin said, but what happens if something happened to him? My thoughts exactly. Like, my thing is, what happens whenever your right now is gone? And another thing that blows my mind, because I was finna try to say, well, you know what? If you're making thousands of dollars, just do it anyway. But it doesn't work, because I did some research on the mindset of millionaires and billionaires. And one of the main things that they said was, number one, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. Number two, this dude said, I never spend my actual earned money on things. I spend money that comes in. So like, his original job is the job that he saved, set up to make the investments. And if he wants something, he let the investment money pay for his fund. Yeah. But his actual job is what keeps the investments funded. Yeah. And I was like, I've never heard nobody wife say that. It's always, he work, I spend. He work, I spend. Well, you're using the wrong money. You don't have investment money. You're banking on just what he makes. You have no goals. It's really not a partnership. And with all due respect, man or woman, if you're doing it, that's parasitic. Yep. That's not a partnership. You're sucking each other dry until there's nothing left.
There's no longevity in it.
At all.
No longevity.
At all.
Ashley said, those women have a right now mentality. A right now mentality, there is no future. Absolutely.
And I was thinking about this on the way to work this morning. And this is no shade against makeup and hair products and all of that. Yet I realize why women, not all, but most women, take so much pride into getting dolled up in makeup. Is because we've excused them so long from providing those skills that I named earlier, yet we've highlighted and accepted the looks, the vagina, and the ability to cook and clean.
Yeah.
So you don't clean all day. You don't cook all day. You don't have sex all day. The only one that actually needs a 24-hour attention is the what? The looks. And what modifies or highlights looks? Makeup, hair, nails. So as long as I look good on a 24-hour basis, I'm still adhering to the 4 qualities that I feel like I can only adhere to. And that's why the makeup industry, the hair industry, and all of these people are multi-billion-dollar industries, because they've capitalized, and all we're asking is, give me some basic life skills. You can keep all that stuff.
Crazy, man. You gotta have conversations about this stuff, bro.
Got to. Justin said the amount of money most people make in the lifestyle they live, so if something happens, they broke again. You're absolutely right. And that goes to show that it's his fault for allowing it. Oh, I make enough, I can just do it. No. Just because you make enough, that don't mean you just spend it like that.
A real man ain't gonna make his wife pay for nothing. Man, you know how foolish you sound?
That he's basically saying, because I make 100,000, I'm willing to throw away 30,000 a year. No, ask her where that money at. But she work at McDonald's. Ask her where that money at. She work at Wendy's. Ask her where's that money. She get tips at Western Sizzling. Ask her where's that money. Because when you put that 20,000 with your 50,000, y'all at 70,000 with your 30,000 away from 100,000.
Matter of fact, let's focus on men for a second, because we talk a lot about women.
Yeah,
I know women get tired of us, getting on.
Let's get them.
Let's talk about.
Let's get them. Why do y'all let them do that?
Ashley said it's not logic. Byron Harper says, sad to say that only makeup than men is a beard.
Sad to say the only makeup than men. Brian, I need you to reword it. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying.
Moses says, sounds like a damn fool.
Like, come on,
let's focus on men for a second.
Let's deal with us.
I need every man that's listening. And before I say this, everybody's free to do what they want to do. However, we also have to acknowledge that whether or not what we're doing is logical or foolish, right? I need the world to stop projecting on men that it makes me a man to have to pay everything. Right? It makes me a real man to take care of my wife and my family, and they don't have to do anything to contribute to the productivity of this family, right? We have to stop projecting that a real man is measured by how deep his pockets are, or is measured by his ability to spend a certain dollar amount on his wife or on his woman or on his family, right? Because first of all, you're limiting us as men, right? Secondly, why are we the only ones with adult responsibilities when we become adults? What sense does that make? How is it that men are the only ones really subject to adult responsibilities when we get of age? That makes no sense to me. And I really wish men would start holding women accountable for making or having or experiencing adult responsibilities when you now are of age. Women are the only ones that get to grow up and be able to look for someone to take care of them, and someone be willing to do it just for them existing, just for the fact that they're breathing.
You're breathing. But I don't know. Now, this may be a surprise. And like our women, I really need y'all to brace yourself. But I don't know if y'all know this or not, but men breathe too. We breathe too.
We got oxygen in our lungs.
But let me get back on the men, because I got something really, really deep I want to let y'all know. So Brian said, my bad, the only thing I was saying was the only thing men is or has to do is grow a beard, and that's the only makeup we have. Yeah. So listen, man. I heard something the other day that really blessed me, and I want y'all to take this with y'all. So someone asked this man, what is a man? And he did the thing like you just said. He removed the traditional standards. And this answer was so perfect, and I would die on this hill. This man said a man is a male who has the ability to be any and everything he needs to be whenever he needs to be it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that any man who doesn't hold their woman accountable, who does take on all the responsibility in a partnership, is less than a man. And let me tell you why. As a man, one of your qualities are to be a leader, to be logical, to be compassionate, understanding, analytical, and critical, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes no logical sense to brag, post, show the world that you're in a partnership, but treat it as if you are an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Because as an individual, you're responsible for the weight of everything, right? So how hypocritically damaging is it for you to project that, oh, I got a wife, she holds it down, we this, we, but yet behind closed doors, you're acting as if you're the only one responsible.
Mm-hmm.
That's not logical.
Mm-hmm.
That's not leading.
Mm-hmm.
And you are negating to enforce a couple life skills, which takes away from your manhood because you're not being everything you need to be when you need to be it. And we can all agree that accountability is something that's needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can all agree that responsibility is something needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can all agree that emotional intelligence, active listening, effective communication, compassion, empathy, sympathy, and all of the other skills that we've been naming since the first video are needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you a man.
Mm-hmm.
Have you told your partner, y'all need to work on that?
Mm-hmm.
You're not a man because you're missing a lot of things. No.
You're not a man, bro.
A man is any male that has the ability to understand to be everything you need to be whenever and wherever you need to be.
He is not limited by what's in his pockets. He's not limited by a dollar amount that he can spend on any given night on any given woman. So we need to stop just giving our money away to women who don't deserve it or who have not put in the work to earn it. Because for us to have a lot of money, we had to have worked hard for it and earned it at some point. And we think that it's okay to just give it away to somebody who has done nothing to deserve it.
Sabrina said, a real man realizes his place in marriage or relationship. They have different roles depending upon their position. Real women isn't looking for a man to take them, but to be a partner. My point exactly. And that's only in maturity though.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever since I heard that, my whole perspective has completely shifted, and money or monetary substance has to be on the bottom of the totem pole. And I saw this guy on TikTok that did a great example of this. He said, let me tell y'all how money is not that important. He said, what if I tell you I give you $1 million, but you got to die tomorrow? Would you take it? They were like, freak no. He said, so life is more important, right? He said, what if I tell you that I'm going to give you $1 million, but your mother has to die tomorrow? They were like, no. Oh, so family is more important than money, right? He was like, what if I tell you I give you $1 million, but you're going to be sick tomorrow? Oh, so your health is more important. He went through like 5 things, and money was like, oh, money, and swatted it down. So why don't we approach life on a daily basis with that concept?
Mm-hmm.
He killed it.
Yep.
Killed it.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Money is not important. It's not. It's needed for the substantial use of every day in and out. But when we really get down to it, the things that we're naming on this video, the things that man named that I just said, way more important. Mm-hmm. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be in the shape we in now. Why so many people single? Why so many people getting divorced? Where the money at? Money don't disappear. People don't throw money. How many people you seen throw money in the trash purposely?
None.
They ain't threw none of it in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've thrown in the trash is these skills that are needed. Therefore, we have a decreasing generation of relationship productivity and responsibility and fruitfulness, but we have a productivity in materialistic value. Mm-hmm. But if it was so productive, why are we in the shape that we're in? Mm-hmm. I'll wait.
We need somebody to answer that question.
Yeah, I need somebody to answer that. If money is so important, then why are we in the shape that we're in with our kids, with our families, with our friends, in our culture, with our job, in our relationships? Why are we experiencing so much chaos when money is steady being made? They're printing money somewhere right now. Mm-hmm. So if money runs the world, then why are we in the shape that we're in? Help me understand. If money is so important. Jason said money comes and goes, but life and the moments in it only comes once. I just need to understand. If money was that fire, then why you wouldn't take it and die tomorrow? If money were that fire, why these people that make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 can't keep a relationship? Mm-hmm. Nasty divorce. Mm-hmm. Kids split up. Kids committing suicide because the parents ain't got time for them because I got all that money. I bet you any kind of money, if they would have had these skills we learned, that wouldn't have happened. So what's really more important? We really need to stop playing with ourselves.
Moses said because people idolize money.
People need to get it together. We need to start working and focusing on these life skills, man.
Can we start promoting the idea of partnership between men and women? Can both men and women accept responsibilities as adults on an individual level and in a partnership as well, right? Can we both agree on working on skills that will actually sustain a long-term relationship versus trying to uphold traditional values that don't work for this time period, right? Can we stop promoting the idea that women are the only ones that deserve an easy life and start valuing the importance of the man as well and what he contributes and brings to the relationship and the way that the man benefits everyone? Like, if all the men in the world dropped dead, the world would go into shambles. Mm-hmm. Like, the world would stop working. Like, men really do a lot to keep the world going and to protect and provide for everybody in the world. So can we stop pretending like men don't deserve to have it easy as much as women do, when men are the ones that's going out and work? And again, that's not to say that there aren't women out there that put in hard work, that are raising families, as single moms, or that's the backbone of their families. But we want men to be shown the same level of appreciation as well.
Men really be dumbing themselves down though. Like, stop doing that.
Stop doing
that
to yourself.
Stop dumbing yourself down,
bro.
Just because you feel like, being able to communicate as some females do. Like, girl that was on the TikTok with me said, I'm a female because I'm able to articulate and go back and forth.
Don't no man go back and forth with a woman.
You've never met a man who was capable of going back and forth. But I don't know if you know this, and this might surprise you, because I get, sometimes people be surprised by certain things, but the way communication work is back and forth.
Back and forth.
One person say something, the other person say something. That's kind of how communication works, right? Mm-hmm. Am I tripping?
No.
Okay, bet. But we call it back and forth. That's what it is. That's how it works. But it's not a female quality. And most females I know, after maybe the 5th or 6th, they're already emotionally heightened. Mm-hmm. I didn't do that. I was calm. Let's have a conversation. Maybe I can talk to you for days. I talked to the lady for 3 days before we finally became friends. I ain't got no beef. I ain't got no problem. But that lady called me everything but a child of God. I'm cool with it. Let's run it. We gotta do better, man. Yeah. We really gotta do better. I really need men to stop dumbing yourself down for the sake of a female. Mm-hmm. Like, take pride in being a man, which means you have the ability to be everything you need to be whenever you need to be it. And I don't know if you know this or not, but having emotional control, emotional intelligence, effective communication, problem solving, and comprehension skills is a part of your deck. Mm-hmm. I'm happy, man. I made it here. Like, I remember a time where, like, I was them. You know what I'm saying? I was satisfied with being a man, which is, or was, going to work, coming home, paying bills. Like, I thought that's all my life consisted of. And as long as I was doing that, I was good. But my family did not get to the next level until I was like, you know what? I need to do a little better than this. Like, this can't be just what I'm going to do for my life. Yeah. Like, this is the cap? Yeah. This can't be the cap. And ever since then, me and my family, and not only my family, like, I don't think a lot of men realize how beneficial people around you would be from you deciding to be a better you. Like your ability to be disciplined in communication and developing skills and cooking and cleaning and showing other fathers or men to take care of their kids, which lowers or decreases the stress and anxiety that's on these single mothers, that produce them having a better work day, that produce increase of the family financial situation because they got raised due to the fact that they're not dealing with the stress of coming home, dealing with the family by themselves. Everybody wins. But as long as we on this whole, this what you do, this what I do, and there's no outside parameters, we got to be in this box. If it worked, why isn't it working? Answer me.
The everything glistening and glittering in gold.
Man, if it worked, why it ain't working?
It's glittering at the beginning, but then when we get down in the line, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and we're constantly trying to do this, and it's causing the stress and stuff like you said, and we realize, yo, this really ain't.
I should have stopped this years ago. That's why, bro, I dressed up at a funeral, bro. Stop playing.
Like prime example, this girl we both know, we're not gonna say names or whatever. She has a friend who's in a situation like that. She's in school, so she doesn't work, and she lives with a boyfriend who pays all the bills, like literally pays for everything. She can't pay for anything because she doesn't work, right? She's ready to leave him because of the simple fact that, yes, even though she has everything paid for her, she's lacking what she really desires, which is simply every now and then going out and having date nights, right? Or getting to spend quality time with him. Like basic human interaction is what she's lacking, and she's willing to give up being paid for everything. Like all her bills are paid, rent paid, light bill paid, everything paid. I'm sure she gets an allowance, so she gets to go shopping and get her makeup, hair, stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, because she's not getting the, hey babe, I want to get up and get dressed up and go out, or I want to go do something. Like because she's not getting that, she's really willing to risk a situation where she doesn't have to worry about money at all. So that proves that as much as we try to promote the idea of women finding a man that's willing to take care of them, or men finding a woman that you can take care of, at the end of the day, when you get it, unfortunately, if we're focusing so much energy into making sure that finances are good, other areas of our relationship are going to end up lacking. And what's going to happen is it's going to reveal itself to be that those other areas are more important to us than this financial aspect that we're promoting here. So why isn't it that we're promoting the other aspects? Why isn't it that we're valuing that over financial standings within a relationship
when it's clearly not working? And you know what? As you were talking, I thought about something. You know why? And I'm assuming, but I could definitely be wrong. You know why old dude ain't saying nothing about going out nowhere?
Why?
Because y'all told me all I had to do was
go to work,
bet,
pay bills,
bet,
bring the check home,
bet,
get your money so you
bet.
can get
You didn't tell me that I need to learn how to read body language and have emotional intelligence enough to pick up on the atmosphere in the house, knowing that you want to go out on a date, because I don't feel like I got to take you on a date due to the fact that I'm already paying for everything, because I'm already checking off the checklist of being a man. I'm sorry, is this my life or his?
It don't work. I promise you, as much as we like to think that it works, it really don't, bro.
Teach that man emotional intelligence.
It don't work.
If he had emotional intelligence, he would be like, something is off. Mm-hmm. Bills are paid. School is going good. Mm-hmm. What the business is? Hey, baby, everything okay? You know why he ain't gonna say that?
Why?
Because he also don't have effective communication.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to deal with that. You know why I say he ain't gonna say that?
Why?
Because she probably don't got effective communication, and he's so used to her yelling, I'd rather not deal with it.
Yep.
So I ain't gonna say nothing. You ain't gonna say nothing. Ain't nothing gonna get done. You gonna leave me when you get done with school. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna blast you on Facebook. I'm gonna tell them about how you used me. I'm gonna actually have proof because you did. They gonna make me look bad because I'm blasting you, because people think that I'm supposed to take care. Did this happen to me?
Yeah, I think this is your situation. I think
now I look bad, but you really got out on me.
Yep.
And I let you.
Yep. We
both to blame. Stop playing with me.
Ashley said, I learned as a woman to not make myself available to a man. If he needs something or want to address something to me, he will come to me. Other than that, I go mind my business. Ashley, do you think that's productive though? Like, do you think that's a healthy way or an effective way of communicating?
And while
Waiting until the other person comes and addresses the issue and not taking initiative to address it if you also have an issue with it as well?
Justin said, I wish you guys could hear my voice in this text so I could be better understood. Money is not everything. Sabrina took off of them to be a part. Oh, that was from earlier. I feel like it is so not beneficial in our times to attach any particular skill or task outside of a biological situation to a specific gender. Mm-hmm. Outside of having kids that we can't do, like, let's not attach a specific task because it's destroying relationships, right? And I'm pretty sure there's a couple more things that are specifically delegated to the male or the female. But outside of biological situation that's physically impossible, let's remove all that. Mm-hmm. Like, let's please remove that, because I assure you that it's a better situation than what we're doing now. Yeah. Because what we currently been doing ain't working.
It's not, man.
And then wonder why when the kids get older, the parents divorce. Because y'all had no substance in the first place. Mm. We just were together for the kids, or because we've accumulated so much financial debt, we now can't survive on our own. So when the kids get out, we just saying bump it.
And that's another thing. You know, how many times have we heard the reason why someone holds those traditional values is because they saw their parents doing mm-hmm. it. When they was growing up, they saw their dad take care of their mom.
But did that.
And when they were growing up, they saw their mom taking care of everything.
But where are they now? Are they still together? Most of them are not.
It never fails.
I kid you not. Most of them are not.
They're not
together no more.
So it's like, okay.
It didn't work.
You saw the outcome of that.
You are the outcome of that.
You lived through it, and yet you're trying to continue the traditional values that you grew up seeing?
It's giving generational curse.
Like, you saw the result of it. But yet you want to continue to do that because you think that's what's most fruitful.
It's giving generational curse, man.
We got to do better. As men and women, we have to do better.
Collectively.
We got to do better.
Collectively. There's a few things that you definitely can take from your parents, but most of our parents are really toxic, man. Yeah. They had some traits. And, I thought about this the other day. I was at my sink washing dishes, and I remember my mom being 32. And I was like, man, I'm 32. And I thought back on, wait a minute. Like, I remember viewing my mom at 32, making certain decisions, going to work, paying bills. And I looked at Noah, and I'm like,
you're not 32.
I'm not.
You're 31.
It's all the same. I wonder, like, how Noah is filming me now. Like, I make it my business to not do certain things because I remember the films of my parents at that age, and I'm like, I ain't really cool with that. I don't like that. I don't want you to see that. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
You gotta do better, man.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
You gotta do better. It's really sad. It's really discouraging. It's really it's just really. Please, let's do better. The 4 or 5 people that's watching, the 6 people that's watching now on YouTube, however many people that's watching on Facebook, can we all agree and vow as a collective to do better as both men and women working together? Can we stop trying to hold on to traditional values for the sake of holding on to traditional values? And can we actually come up with things or ways or plans that actually work better for all of us together? Not just plans that only benefit one of us or benefit us on an individual level, but plans and goals that benefit us as a collective, as couples, as partners. Like, can we just do that? Can we do that?
Can we do better? Ashley said, to give him space. I just feel like even with the space thing, like, it's kind of it's that double entendre thing, right? Let me just use me. I used to have it bad about specifically creating space between me and my wife when we got into it because of her and my inability to effectively communicate and have emotional intelligence to come to a resolve. Mm-hmm. So when we got into it, I would purposely create space, but that space was so that I don't risk being in an emotional situation where I have to feel those emotions about you that I currently don't feel like I can communicate to you because of you. It's self-defeating though. Mm-hmm. So the space that men have is due to our collective inabilities. Yet when me and my wife both developed a sense or a higher sense of emotional intelligence and effective communication, our arguments now actually brings me closer to her. Because now after we're done arguing, because I now feel safer about addressing those arguments without being in that mental space, I then immediately want to be around her. Mm-hmm. Same arguments, same money, because we ain't got no raises, mm-hmm. but our skills have developed. Yeah. And it's created a much better atmosphere for me, her, and my child. Mm-hmm. So I know it worked.
Definitely got a lot more to unpack here.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and end the video on this note. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like the video, please like the video on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Catch us same time, same place every week. Thursdays, 7:00. Yeah, man. Hopefully, what you guys take from this is, you know what? We'll ask you guys about it next week. But right now, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our future selves. One day, we'll look back on this and wonder why we were ever like this in the first place. And on that note,
I can't wait to that day.
We'll holler at you guys.